Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody who's here live and everybody who is home. It's June 26, 2025, 7 p.m. This is the Borough of Allendale Mayor and Council combined and work and regular session meeting. Linda, will you please read the Open Public Meetings Act announcement and call the meeting to order?
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the notice requirements have been satisfied. The meeting dates for the year are confirmed at the annual meeting, are posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building and on the borough website, published in the record within the first 10 days of the new year, and copies are sent to the Ridgewood News and Star Ledger. Notice of this meeting by the June 2025 Sunshine Notice was sent to the record, the Ridgewood News and Star Ledger, and has been posted on the public bulletin board in the municipal building and borough website. Councilman Yakarino.
Here.
Councilman O'Toole.
Here.
Councilwoman Homan.
Here.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Here.
Councilman Delavatio.
Here. Here.
Councilman O'Connell. Mayor Wozinski.
Here. Everybody please stand to salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I am going to go through agenda review. We have a presentation to kick off our meeting with our planner, Ed Snikes. This is our Fair Share Housing Plan. We've been talking about this for quite some time now, and we are at the point where we're ready to submit something by the deadline at the end of June. We have our approval of minutes, and we have second readings for a couple ordinances. The first one is our capital ordinance. We have second reading on that. We discussed that at our last meeting. We also have second reading for the ordinance to amend and revise the Allendale Vehicles and Traffic chapter. That is just to allow the police some flexibility in the no parking ordinance. And we also have second reading for our flood hazard map floodplain administrator. This is something that is actually required for us to do. We also have separately a resolution that would be to endorse the housing element fair share plan adopted, that was recently adopted by our land use board. And then we have our consent agenda, which are considered routine, but I like to point out a couple things. We have our townwide garage sale coming up from the Women's Club in October. We are also authorizing Neglia Engineering. They are going to be the engineering group that is going to oversee the final streetscape phase. Woo-woo! The reason it took this long and this many phases is because we had it done with DOT grants. So we wanted to make sure that the grants covered it. There's only a certain amount of money we could apply for each year, so we did it in stages, and this is actually the last stage. Some people say that we've been doing this for years. They are right. Thanks for everybody's patience. We have been doing it for years, but it didn't cost money. Well, not as much money as it would have cost if we had to pay for it, and we do appreciate everybody's patience through that. We have our list of bills that I went over. Councilwoman Lovasolo, you as well?
Yes, ma'am.
And we have our civil rights policy. This is something that is required by the state, but it is something that we are happy to endorse. And then we also have a resolution that is another grant that we're going for, and this is to potentially pave our transit lots. So the DOT one that came through, we haven't done this one before. We don't know if this will, we are allowed to actually do that, but we're going to actually try. So we are going to, we have to get, oh, I'm sorry, this is not the transit lot one. This is Cedar and Oakwood Drive. Never mind. Scraps that. This is a DOT grant to pave 2 streets in Allendale. And we're just waiting for some reports, and then hopefully we'll submit that one in. That was actually not on the agenda on Fox. And that's it then. So with that, I think I'm going to call up, well, first I'm going to open the meeting up to the public. Does anybody from the public have any comments on any agenda items only? Not seeing anybody. Let's call up Ed Snikes for our presentation.
I use this microphone.
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I believe also the affordable housing attorney, Jeff Serenian, did he log in as well?
Yes, he's on.
Okay.
I'm here.
I'm not-
Hi, Jeff. How are you? Jeff Serenian, our Fair Share Housing attorney, is on the line.
Maybe I should just make a opening remark.
Sure.
In terms of the stage of the process we're in the final stage of this process. We committed to a number in January. We mediated that number. We agreed on what the number would be for round 4. And we're now at a stage where we have to file a housing element and fair share plan by June 30th to meet that number. The planning board adopted the plan. I filed a resolution adopting the plan, and I filed a plan with the program. And the last step before we go into the next stage of the objection period is for the borough to endorse it. So we're here tonight for the borough to consider endorsing a plan that the planning board or the land use board has already adopted. And where we go from here procedurally is there is a 60-day objection period. Anyone who has any objections to our plan has until August 31st to object. And then we go into mediation in September if there are any objections. So that's where we are in the grand scheme of things. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ed.
So Jeff, as far as the objection period, so the objectors, is that typically Fair Share Housing and the Builders Association?
Well,
Buildings in general?
it's typically Fair Share Housing Center. And I don't know that the Builders Association per se will object, but if there's any builder that doesn't like his zoning, they may try to elbow their way into your plan and try to point out as many faults as they can generate with your plan. And even though they're not supposed to offer up their site as the solution to the problem, they all will. That's what I would anticipate. So I don't know if there's anyone that we should anticipate will try to force you to include them in your plan and rezone them. But if there's anyone, we're likely to hear about it by before September 1st.
Okay, and do we anticipate Fair Share Housing? Because a lot of towns are kind of bragging about, their plans and their RDPs and all that, but Fair Share Housing still has to can potentially object to a lot of these. Is that something that you anticipate with a lot of municipalities, or?
I think there's 440 municipalities that filed declaratory judgment actions, and the vast majority of them will be filing plans by June 30th. I think they're going to have to pick who they want to pick on, because as hard as they will try to, pick every nit in every plan, there are limitations on what they can do. And when we all sought extensions of time to file our plans, they objected. So, they know that if they have the audacity to ask for more time to object, our argument is clear. Even-handed justice demands that you treat them just the way you treated us.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Ed, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Again, just to introduce myself, Ed Snikus with Burgess Associates, professional planners. We had prepared this affordable housing element and fair share plan to address affordable housing obligations. Just for those that may not know, just as a quick introduction, this is a element of our master plan. That's why the planning board was involved in the document and had adopted the document as an arm of the land use board, the planning board aspect of it. And that was on June 16th of this month. And so that document, as an element of the master plan, as Jeff had mentioned, has been filed with the program. We are here tonight also to help introduce or go over the document, but yet seeking the endorsement of the element to be filed with the program. The program is an agency of the state, and that came about as a result of the recent adjustments, or let's say amendments, to the Fair Housing Act. The Fair Housing Act, the legislature back in March of last year revised the Fair Housing Act to include this new program, got rid of COA at the time, and now is the program that we submit our information to.
And the program consists of retired judges?
Yeah, it is part of retired
It sounds like
judges.
it's like this entity, but it's actually a group of collection of
Judges,
6
correct,
or 7 retired
that are involved in this type of litigation, let's call it. So we have made that submission in accordance with the appropriate timeframes, and we're looking for the endorsement as well tonight. But yeah, just to quickly give an overview of what's in the document. As a housing element and fair share plan, as I mentioned, as part of your master plan, it puts into a master plan what our plan is for the next 10 years. Essentially, it's for the cycle between June 30th of 2025 to June 30th of 2035. Excuse me, I've been doing this too many times. I have to correct myself. So that is what's called the fourth round. We previously had plans for all prior 3 rounds. And Allendale has had a very good track record as to addressing affordable housing, a substantial track record to address affordable housing through various programs and efforts that you have done throughout the years. And I think that should be recognized, and it's recognized in the report as well. That's something that I think the borough should be proud of. We had prior cycle amounts that people will possibly look at and hear about. We have a prior round obligation of 137, a third round obligation of 308, and now in the fourth round, as Jeff had mentioned, we have a prospective need of 200. And what we've shown in the report is that we've addressed affirmatively the requirements under the Fair Housing Act for those various cycles. In the fourth round, which is most important right now, is that we did another evaluation, as we had done in the third round, of what's called a vacant land adjustment. And when we go through a vacant land adjustment, we're looking at the vacant properties within the borough, and then seeing whether there's any sizable properties that could be developed for housing. Not to say that we would have to zone those areas for housing. It's really just an analysis to establish what amount of vacant land do you have, because the number is so high, the amount of affordable units that's been allocated by the state. And that allocation is required for us to look at, but yet we have the ability to make an adjustment to that. And we did make an adjustment in the prior round. We made an adjustment to reduce that overall need as well. And so in the prior round, we had a reduction down to, excuse me one second, I just thought I had that in front of me, 54 units that we were reduced down to in the third round. We've affirmatively addressed all 54 units in the third round, and that has been done through various programs, and that is outlined in the report. And those programs were all successful and established, and so therefore we had addressed affirmatively that requirement. We also, in the fourth round, though, needed to look at that same vacant land adjustment to see if there's any changed situations that we would identify that would be qualified as vacant land adjustments. And when we did so, we did not find any vacant properties, but yet what's also part of the analysis is that we look at potential properties that might be available in the next 10 years. What we did receive is a request to consider a property within town for potentially additional development. It's not that we would be considering that property for affordable housing, but we would have to anticipate its possible redevelopment in the near future, possibly within the next 10 years. That was the Savini restaurant property. And we did look at that property and figure out whether or not it was sizable. It is 1.75 acres. So therefore it was large enough when we apply certain factors to it based upon the rules. And the rules look at a certain density that might be established on that property theoretically. It's only a theoretical analysis, not that you have to actually zone that property. What that realized is a potential to add an additional 4 units of affordable housing to the RDP number. And so that additional 4 units was something that we conservatively looked at and said, we should be preparing ourselves for considering that property. And therefore, we included in the plan a 4-unit RDP increase in the 4th round. And the way we were looking to address that 4 units of RDP is to review our programs. And in fact, what coincided to this whole cycle was a purchase of a unit within an existing development that was existing affordable housing. It was a 2-bedroom unit on Elm Street that was being provided for sale. We had the first right to purchase it. What is happening is Allendale Housing Inc.
Practically sold.
Yes, almost sold on us, which shouldn't have happened, but it was at that point. And the borough successfully captured that unit, and it's going to be converted to 2-bedroom group home. And that 2-bedroom group home will provide 2 actual credits because each bedroom provides a credit towards the 4 units of RDP. In addition to that, we also looked at a survey of the amount of units that, believe it or not, their deed restrictions may come to term in the next 10 years. And what we have realized is that we have 2 units, so actually even possibly more, on Trotter's Lane that are also existing affordable units that had 30-year deed restrictions assigned to them. What the borough has is sort of a first right of refusal to look at those properties to either, in some situations, purchase the property, or if they are rental properties, you could buy down and extend the controls. We would likely probably purchase the properties and use trust fund monies, but then resell them to, again, qualified individuals that would meet the affordable housing requirements. What those 2 units would do, and that we're looking at specifically 2 units, would provide us with 2 units of family credits. And that is a requirement of the rules that 50% of your RDP being 4, so therefore 2 units would have to be family units under the rules. And so what those 2 units would do is meet the 50% family requirement. So therefore, we're meeting all 4. But in addition to that, we actually get a bonus credit for the 2 group home alternative living arrangements is really what they're called technically. Those 2-bedroom units, we would be getting 1 bonus credit. And the reason why we get 1 bonus credit is that you're only permitted to have up to 25% of your overall RDP be assigned to what's called bonus credits. And again, I was speaking up for the fan, but I'll quiet my voice now. But yet the overall plan proposes 5 actual credits towards the 4 units of RDP. So we've affirmatively addressed our prospective RDP need of 4 units with 5 credits. So that is showing how we are affirmatively addressing that. In addition to that, though, we do have a 4-unit RDP, but the overall need of the 4th round is 200. So therefore, we have 196 units of what's called unmet need. It moves over to a column called unmet need. That unmet need is not something that has to be completely addressed. It is a aspect of the law that says something to the effect that you're looking to apply certain mechanisms to try to capture units towards that need. What we currently have towards that need, and that actually was the case for the 3rd round, is that we have 3 overlay zones that exist within the borough. We have the Ramsey Golf and Country Club overlay zone that was established in the 3rd round, the Allendale Corporate Center overlay zone, and the Church of the Guardian Angel overlay zones. Those 3 zones are still in effect. We feel that they're still applicable locations at this time, and that we look to also as a effort to try to show that we're making effort to address this 196 units of unmet need, is to expand upon the Allendale Corporate Center overlay zone. And that would be expanding it for 1 additional lot. It's an additional 5 acres of area that would be added to that. So we wouldn't, in fact, create a new zone. We would just actually extend the current zone that's in that area. So that is the proposal and part of the plan. And it shows I think, a very positive effort to try to address your needs as far as affordable housing. And I feel the plan is appropriate and it meets the needs and meets the criteria associated with the rules under the Fair Housing Act. And in that document as well, what's also part of the allocation from the state is something called present need. Often that gets confused with what's called prospective need. The prospective need is what I just talked about, the 200 units, bringing it down through the 4-unit RDP to 196. That is the prospective need for the next 10 years. What the calculations also look at in accordance with the rules is what the potential is for existing present units within town that might need to be rehabilitated. And that's called present need. Under the present need requirement, there was a crazy number that was assigned to Allendale of 159 units. And I'm not sure where that actually came from the statistical data that the state looked at. And instead, what we chose to do was a mechanism that's available to us through the rules is to do what's called a windshield survey. We did a windshield survey back before the January submission that we made to the court for the initial numbers and indicated that we have what we feel is probably 10 units to be addressed from a rehabilitation standpoint. And what I mean by rehabilitation would be someone that's potentially on a fixed income that may be income qualified, that may have a system, whether it's a critical system in their home, electrical, plumbing, or heating, or let's say it's an exterior system of a windows, or a roofing system that needs to be replaced. And they need some financial assistance to help replace those systems. What we can do and what we've done in this plan through the spending plan is to allocate monies to help fund this program. And currently right now, we do participate in the Bergen County Home Improvement Program, but that only applies for sale units. But yet we are going to make this available for potentially some rental units in town, whether they be income qualified, they have to be income qualified. So they would apply towards this 10-unit requirement. So what we've made part of this document is the submission of that survey of the 10 units to indicate that we feel the present need is 10, not 159. And so that is going to be submitted for review, and we'll have to see what that outcome is.
And when is that submitted?
That is submitted along with
It
this
is.
document.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
it
because I
is.
thought they were kind of putting that on the back burner for now.
They did during the January submission.
Okay.
They asked for that to be part of this submission.
Okay.
So that's why we have it now in this document. And so that has been submitted to the program for review. And so that would address the last part of this plan. As I mentioned, the spending plan real quickly, and this is concerning this body, is that the spending plan is a document that's appended to this document for the planning board. But it's more important for this board to understand that that is a document that this board would control from the standpoint of spending funding from your trust fund. We currently have a trust fund that the public may not know about, that we do collect funding into to help finance these sort of programs. And we currently have a program that has been very successfully establishing certain programs, but at the same time, where we've did a projection of what income might come into that program and then made allocations in the spending plan for the spending of the trust fund monies, because that is required by the statute, and that's why it's in the document.
And this trust fund money is what helped us rehab 98 Elm Street, and is also going to be very instrumental in the extensions of the deed that we were just talking about.
Exactly. Thank you, Mayor. So that really summarizes the overall document
All right.
for consideration. Thank you.
Does anybody have any comments or questions up here? You know, this whole thing with Mount Laurel started, back in, 1975 with the Supreme Court. And as Ed mentioned, there was, these 4 rounds, and each round has been, challenging. It's been different. They've changed it. They've been complicated.
There's been litigation. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of
Mhm.
litigation. And then, every governor tried to change something, and some were successful, some weren't. So it's been challenging for municipalities because each municipality is different and they don't take that into consideration. For example, a town like Saddle River adjacent to us has no infrastructure. They don't have any sewer system. And they have all of these units now that want to use our sewer system. So that, you know, so we have that kind of going back and forth. But it doesn't also take into consideration, you know, schools and public safety and things like that. And that's what's been really challenging for a lot of municipalities. But I feel that, as Ed mentioned, we have always been, you know, in the forefront, Allendale. We were one of the, you know, top municipalities to get certified in the third round. We've always done our obligation. We have not skirted our obligation. And this fourth round is no different. So, you know, we're not opposed to affordable housing at all. We just want to make sure it's done right. We want to make sure it's done fairly, and we want to make sure it's done without harming the character of the town. And I feel like we work very, very hard towards that. As we mentioned, 98 Elm Street was sold. It was sold out from under us, and we got it back. It was by the bank. So we, you know, we were so on top of that. And if we weren't, we would have lost that opportunity. And here we have, we bought it for $50,000 and we're able to rehab it. And now we're getting 4 credits for that. That's thinking outside the box. That's being really smart. Also looking at all the deed restrictions and getting those done. So I feel that we had a really great team with you and Ray and Jeff. Suzanne was part of the team as well. And we were working on this. We were doing this before we probably should, you know, we assembled this team really early on. And at the same time, adjacent, doing the master plan and the hazard vulnerability study. So we really analyzed every piece of property in this borough. And I feel like this is a really solid plan. I think the Savini's piece, adding that in was, you know, it's smart because that builder did come to you.
Yes.
And, you know, we don't want any objections. We don't want our plan. We want, you know, we want to make sure that we are doing everything that we were supposed to do. And if that builder came forward, you know, that might look like that wasn't, we weren't being as transparent as we should be. So I just want to thank you for all the work. What are you going to do with your time? June 30th.
I have a lot of things my wife wants me to do.
Many do. So, yeah, I just want to, you know, thank everybody. I've had this memo that I want to put out to the community to let them know, you know, what exactly is going on, because it's so complicated. And it's like it's getting longer and longer. So, but you did a really great job of actually addressing it. And I think we're in good shape with the overlay zone and the RDP of 4. So
It's been a team effort as well.
it has.
Absolutely.
So thank you. Thank you very much. So,
Thank you.
all right. Well, thank you.
Okay.
Jeff, do you have any comments?
No, just be prepared for what's next.
I think that's the big
Oftentimes,
question.
these things don't go as smoothly as you would like. You know, there's could very well be objections here. So don't be surprised if we're back reporting to you that, you know, they attacked us in this way or that way and how we're going to respond.
Well, we have a good team behind us, so I have a feeling we're gonna be in good shape. All right. Anything else?
Well, I think the other thing to point out is like, this is 4th round, but it doesn't mean 4th and final.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't know what the final round is.
Yeah, well, it's in perpetuity, I guess,
It
right?
may not be a
It's
final round.
I know.
You know?
What it does mean is you should be as active as you can before the 5th round hits to try to get some changes in this legislation, because the legislation is unreasonable in my view.
Governor, just gonna say.
At a minimum, yeah.
It doesn't go away. You know, every governor kind of tried to do something different. Governor Corzine took away what's called the RCAs, which I thought was really good balance, where you could actually build in other communities. Chris Christie came in and abolished COA, which he wasn't allowed to do. And then the judge came back and said that gap year that COA was not in existence, we all had to make up for. So that's why the 3rd round kind of had 2 parts to it,
Like 10
and why the numbers were so high. But I really do hope a governor does something, because I personally feel that unmet need number is really what's going to really kill just all of New Jersey. I mean, our unmet need number is 645
Yeah,
units,
altogether.
buildable units. How are we going to do that? So they really want to take every piece of possible land. I mean, one of the properties they wanted us to look like was in the middle of a residential street, just somebody that happens to have a, you know, nice acreage. So, you know, stuff like that is where I hope a new governor will come in and look and just say, environmentally, you know, the flood problems that we have in New Jersey. The DEP is putting out all these crazy guidelines that really contradict everything that the other agencies are doing. So there's a lot of that. So I do feel like better leadership that's sensible and more common sense is able to provide affordable housing and to the people that really need it, and monitoring them. So when they are done with their, you know, and moving on, they do move out, because a lot of times people don't move out, and that's part of the problem too. So that makes me really happy that we're actually recycling our affordable housing instead of, you know, just keep on building and keep on building. So. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks,
Have a
Ed.
great.
Mayor, are you gonna take a vote now on the resolution?
Well, I'm gonna, yeah, so we're gonna go through the approvals, and then, yeah, we'll get to that in like 2 minutes.
Okay,
All right, so first I'd like to have approval of our minutes, May 22nd and June 12th, work and regular session minutes, please.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Councilman Yakarino.
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole.
Yes.
Councilwoman Homan.
Yes to May, abstain to June 12th.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Yes.
Councilman Delavatio.
Abstain at May 22nd and yes, June 12th.
all right, next we have second reading and public hearing for ordinance 25-10. Linda, please read that.
The following ordinance was first read by title only on June 12, 2025, and posted on the bulletin board of the lobby of the municipal building and borough website. Ordinance 25-10, capital ordinance of the Borough of Allendale in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, authorizing various public improvements and acquisitions in, by, and for the borough, appropriating therefore the sum of $642,000 and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from the borough's capital improvement fund and from various grants.
Thank you very much. I'd like to open up to the public ordinance 25-10, our capital ordinance that we talked about. Not seeing anybody. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, please.
Homan.
Councilman Yakarino.
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole.
Yes.
Councilwoman Homan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Yes.
Councilman Delavatio.
Yes.
Excellent. Next, we have second reading and public hearing of ordinance 25-11. Linda?
The following ordinance was first read by title only on June 12, 2025, and posted on the bulletin board of the lobby of the municipal building and borough website. Ordinance 25-11, an ordinance to amend, supplement, and revise the Code of the Borough of Allendale, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 252-7A.
Again, this is the ordinance to allow our police some flexibility in our parking laws. I'd like to open it up to the public. Does anybody from the public have anything to say on this ordinance? Not seeing anybody? Bring it back. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Councilman Yakarino.
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole.
Yes.
Councilwoman Homan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Yes.
Councilman Delavatio.
Yes.
All right, next we have ordinance 25-12, the second reading of public hearing. Linda, please read.
The following ordinance was first read by title only on June 12, 2025, and posted on the bulletin board of the lobby of the municipal building and borough website. Ordinance 25-12, an ordinance by the Borough of Allendale, governing body amending the Borough of Allendale Code of Ordinance to repeal Chapter 132, to adopt a new Chapter 132, to adopt flood hazard maps, to designate a floodplain administrator, and providing for severability and an effect date.
This is just what I was talking about, all the regulations that we have to do for floodplain right now. So anybody from the public like to comment on ordinance 25-12? Not seeing anybody. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Councilman Yakarino.
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole.
Yes.
Councilwoman Homan.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Yes.
Councilman Delavatio.
Yes.
All right. And next we have a resolution 25-174. We pulled this resolution out. This is what we just were talking about. This is endorsing the housing element and the fair share plan adopted by the Land Use Board this past Monday.
Resolution 25-174, resolution of the mayor and council of the Borough of Allendale endorsing the housing element and fair share plan adopted by the Allendale Land Use Board. Motion.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Councilman Yakarino,
Yes.
Councilman O'Toole,
Yes.
Councilwoman Homan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo,
Yes.
Councilman Delavatio.
Yes.
Excellent. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Councilman Yakarino,
Abstain 178, yes on the balance, please.
Councilman O'Toole,
Yes.
Councilwoman Homan,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo,
Yes.
Councilman Delavatio.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Well, I know we have a Boy Scout in the audience. I think this might be a good time before we have our reports. If you want to come up, and Ed, you're free to leave. If you'd like
Very
to
much.
leave.
Thank you, Ed.
And Jeff,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Take care, folks.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Thank you, Jeff.
Welcome.
Thanks for filling in for the Ed roll tonight.
Take care.
So hello, my name is Matt Samarco. I'm a Scout in Troop 59 in Allendale, and I'm seeking to do my Eagle project. And my project, which was originally proposed by ARC, it was kind of their idea, kind of to have it done, was for all the fields around the Crestwood and Brookside, since they aren't really labeled very well, to be labeled not only all the fields but navigational signs between the fields. I have printed out here like a mock-up of what all the signs are going to look like, as well as a map of where all of them are going to be. And so I've been working very closely with ARC during this process. And does anyone have any questions about what the project is going to be? Yeah.
Material going to be.
So the signs is from a manufacturer online, and it's kind of pretty much like a street sign or what a stop sign would be. And the signs, some of them are for like, depending on where the field's location is, for just visibility. Some of them are going to be put up on the actual fences on the fields, so that and just like screwed on, placed on. Some are also going to be placed on. There are several signs around that they're going to be screwed on there, and there are two signposts that need to be driven in that are going to be holding signs that don't have any other signs in that spot so far.
They're metal signs.
Yes, they're metal signs.
And what are the colors?
They're just going to be white with black writing on them. Yes, because there are some signs on some of the fields are labeled, but it's not consistent because only some of them are and some of them aren't, as well as on the town website. Some of them are labeled differently on the actual field, such as it's labeled Field 4 on the town website, but Coonish Field in person. And so,
We'll get that. We'll get
yeah.
that.
And so they also will be correcting that, as well as there was an Eagle project a few years ago, putting up a map at the beginning of Crestwood, I'm sure by Greg Brew. And so it's kind of adding on to that by putting there's another sign. It didn't come out great in here, but there's a little sign. It's a QR code that has a link to this map on the Allendale site. So if you can so they can scan it, yeah, and it'll be updated with all the fields.
So you're going to do the
recording.
electronic updating also?
Well, no,
The extending the project?
but all the signs are just going by what
The updating or what?
it's going based off of what it's like on the website right now.
alright.
So it's kind of updating it to go along with the website.
Okay, that was.
I think
Yeah.
it's a great idea and so necessary.
Yeah, because for example, for like the Coonish Fields one, it's Fields 4 on the website, and so we're adding a Fields 4 sign along with the Coonish Field sign
Good
to
idea.
clear up
So
any confusion
Going
with
to
that.
describe this project because you are going to be asked a million times when you're interviewed for anything, and they're going to say, I'm an Eagle Scout, because companies love it, everybody
Yeah.
loves it, so you got to give a good overview.
Yeah, and so pretty much for the execution part, actually, it's pretty much kind of the leadership aspect of it, is because we're going to break up into, I'll play depending on how many volunteers I have, 2 or 3 teams of scouts that are going to kind of just like divide and conquer. I'm going to like train them beforehand on how they're going to be putting up all the different signs. And so that's kind of because I'm not supposed to actually be doing like the actual construction. That's not really what they're looking to see. That the fact that I can put up some signs, it's the fact that I can demonstrate my leadership by teaching other younger scouts to do the signs. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. And then each of the teams is going to have whichever the oldest or most senior scout is going to be the kind of the leader of the team to direct them. And then one team will probably be located at the Brookside Fields and one at the Crestwood. And then eventually over 1 or 2 days of construction, we'll be able to get all of them put up.
Good,
Great.
that's great, excellent.
So I know you're working with Councilman O'Connell.
Yes, I've been in contact
So
with
yeah,
him.
he'll be working with you. Do you need us to do like a straw poll for you here,
Like
a vote?
yes, I believe so. I believe that was what Councilman O'Connell was saying, was that it needed to be put through as a vote or I'm not sure what
Is anyone
but it needs to be put through as a vote.
No, sounds like a great idea.
I'm going to share,
So
my
exciting.
son is an Eagle Scout and I just,
Yeah.
it's amazing that you stayed in scouting this whole way and
Yeah.
helping it up with something that's useful, as Councilwoman Lovasola said. It's awesome. So congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
To your mom, I'm assuming that's here escorting you through. That's wonderful.
So when
all
you guys
right.
want to take a look at these, I can
know
leave
speak
these
there,
with
but,
you.
I
So
wish the sign would blink.
No backward signs either.
Sign, she'll. And they have to be yellow.
All righty, can we take a vote?
Yeah.
if you guys want to take a look at the mock-ups, I could pass
I'd
them
love
around
to.
if you need.
Tyler?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
There's no more color.
Thank you.
Yes.
Suzanne?
Absolutely, yes, thank you.
Joe?
Yes.
Amy, yes. All right, you're good.
All right. Thank you so much.
Look, well done.
Good luck.
I mean, you.
All right, council reports. Councilman Yakarino.
And pickleball.
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
We'll tell it. Tell it.
All right. You may have one
All right.
update to one.
So this week we had our Allendale's Recreation Committee meeting on Tuesday, ARC, attended by myself, the mayor, and Andy. Very productive meeting. It was actually, the agenda was mostly things that we had brought to the table, including the ARC 5K, which is going to be in October. I'll let you speak to that a little bit more later if you want. A lot of our conversation revolved around fields, scheduling, use of the fields, how the season's been going, and so forth. A lot of productive dialogue. We really thought outside the box on a lot of things, again, regarding fields, maintenance, what we'd like to see, what's working, some more specifics with regard to the Joe boxes that house all the equipment at each of the fields. So I've been working with Mike Minicucci, and I know, Amy, you have as well, just to think about some ideas of things we could do to improve that. One of the big things that came out of our conversation is next week we're going to be doing a full walkthrough, and Joe, I'll forward you some information on that if you'd like to join us with some of the folks from the ARC board. So we're going to be visiting all of the fields next week. We're going to be doing a full walkthrough, taking pictures and notes and things that we could do to improve. And that's really what the goal of this is we've done the full overhaul on Field 3, and then again, taking notes in a collaborative sense and how we could all work together. So I'll leave it at that.
Great.
I yield back.
Thank you, Mayor. The Public Safety Committee met last Tuesday in what was somewhat of a hybrid meeting. This was also the planning meeting for the July 4th festivities. Due to family obligation, I was not able to attend, but Chief Dillon assured me that all went very well, that all plans to ensure a safe and enjoyable 4th are coming together as usual. Apart from that, the search is on for a replacement for Officer Pete, who is our SLEO at Hillside School.
I saw that, yeah.
So we should have someone in place for the beginning of the year. And I preemptively yielded my time to Councilman Yakarino. That's all I got.
Council President Homan.
Well, council, I can say we are truly lucky to have Mayor Amy Wolzinski, because I think about like just spending all the time that you've spent with Suzanne on so many of the things on fair housing, and the amount of time that our Water and Sewer Committee has spent with Amy and with Ray and with Mike Reeland on a lot of different matters is truly, to me, amazing. So thank you, Amy, for
Thank you.
Thank you
Are
for
kidding?
well, I know, but you're going from meeting to meeting. So I can say that at this point, as far as in water, the borough, as you all know, is in some litigation, and currently we're in the discovery phase. So we've spent a tremendous amount of time going through materials, trying to ensure that we appropriately respond. And the parties will all be sharing information on Monday, right?
Monday.
And as far as sewer, we also are in the crosshairs of some litigation. And so we've spent a lot of time together there. And just thank you, Ray, so much for helping us through all this time together. That's my report. And we'll update everybody as there's more appropriate information to share.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Yes, it's hard when you have litigation. You don't know what you're supposed to say. Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Thank you, Mayor. Tyler, do you need any more time?
I mean, I always got something to say.
So the land use committee meeting, which was originally scheduled for this morning, has been postponed until next Wednesday morning. So I will be able to report out at that point on more land use fun. And finance, admin, and HR. Allison was out this week. We miss her, so that one's coming up as well.
Excellent. Councilman Delavatio.
Thank you, Mayor.
Sure.
So the DPW committee
Yeah.
met yesterday morning. Right now, the DPW is hard at work preparing for the July 4th festivities, which, as Councilman O'Toole and Councilman Iaccarino mentioned, it's going to be a great day, as it always is. All the observers are working diligently behind the scenes to have a very fun and safe day planned. DPW is a very vital part of that. Getting things prepared, getting things clean, getting things ready. So I want to thank the guys for that. Currently, we're still working on Crestwood Lake to continue to keep that up to standards for the summer so everybody can enjoy the lake. Working on some various repairs, getting some pricing, getting some contractors lined up for some different repairs that need to be performed at the DPW facility itself. We had an inspection and a couple of minor things that we have to address, a couple of leaks in the roof and some minor things like that. So we're taking care of that. Still monitoring and addressing the catch basins and storm drains around town. For those of you who have noticed, with these storms that we have, we don't have the flooding that we used to have, and that's partly because of the regular cleaning of the catch basins and the storm drains. So I want to thank the guys for keeping up on that stuff. Also continuing to monitor and prepare a plan to get pothole repairs. Been kind of busy getting Crestwood Lake open and now preparing for the 4th of July. So that will start to come back into mainframe probably in the next couple of weeks or next month. We'll start to get back to filling some potholes. And field repairs, there's some field repairs that we need to do on some of the fields, get some of the grass where it needs to be. We were able to work on fields 1 and 2. ARC was able to work on field 3. We gave them some help with that. And then we're still preparing a plan to continue fields beyond. So that's kind of where we're at in the DPW committee.
Are you excited that you're going to have those fields easily identifiable from now on?
I can't wait.
All right, staff reports. Our clerk.
Oh, I have one more thing. Sorry.
No, you lost your time.
I know I lost it.
Joe is yielding.
Can I yield? Can I make that back?
No, I was going to filibuster.
I just wanted to just touch on a few library things. I got a report from the library. Lee Memorial Library is putting the finishing touches on their summer reading programs for adults, teens, and children. The theme this year is Color Our World. To fit with the theme, the library will be doing a number of art programs for people of all ages. The library will also have their summer fling with a book event in August this year. And for the 4th year, the library is offering a personal librarian service. Interested patrons can fill out a survey with their reading preferences, and the library will provide personalized recommendations for books.
That's awesome.
Is that awesome? That's it. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, our staff reports. Our clerk, Linda Trevino.
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing from the clerk's office, except that the next meeting of July 17th, I will be on vacation.
Yes, I saw that.
So you're in good hands with Dottie.
Yay. And Dottie, sorry.
And do you have anything else? Do you have a report?
So I just wanted to add that Amanda has Kira organizing some children's programs at
Yes.
the community
Yep.
center. They did rock painting yesterday, and I stopped by, and it was pretty well attended, so it was really cute. They were walking out as I was
Yeah,
watching,
cute.
but they were so excited, and they made really nice things.
Great.
Also, if you haven't gotten back to me yet on the New Jersey League of Municipalities in November, just let me know which nights and the dates that you're
All right.
interested in.
All right, thank you very much.
Everyone.
Our Borough Attorney, Ray Witt.
But I need to go on
Thank you,
whatever
Mayor.
night.
As the council president mentioned, unfortunately, we're in a bit of a litigation cycle, and the last 2 weeks, even more than typical. But I do want to echo what she said, that the mayor and the council's president spent 4 hours with me yesterday, another 3 hours with me earlier this evening, and we're on a Zoom meeting at 7:30 tomorrow morning. So it is dedication above and beyond, and it is appreciated. And I could just say that this file is just documents assembled in the last 48 hours. So it's an unfortunate situation, but they're very important issues to the borough. issues involving water, issues involving sewer, issues involving affordable housing. It's important that in each of these cases, the borough is participating to the fullest. That the effort, the assistance is certainly appreciated by me. And I guess on a more positive vein, we've had a second negotiating session with the PBA, and I think that it's fair to say that some progress is being made. An MOU is being circulated. I expect to have commentary from the PBA attorney maybe as early as tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to put together a contract that's satisfactory for the borough and also for our police officers.
Excellent.
That's it, Mayor.
All right, I will give my report. As Ray mentioned, the PBA negotiations were actually very successful, I thought. I think we came to some very fair improvements to the contract. I think the police are happy. I think they deserve, what we proposed. They agreed on it. There was a lot of back and forth, but we really met midway. So, and I wanted to also bring up that we are starting this educational series in the community center. We had passport services come a couple months ago. Just this week, we had some ideas on how to plan your funeral and a will. And currently, there's going to be more open gyms for adults and for kids. And then we have a young college student going in and doing some arts and crafts for a lot of the children. So the community center is being used, which is wonderful. And just happy to see, especially kids in there. The lake is open finally, full time. School is out. So now we just need good weather. So everybody, hope they pop in and see our new concessionaire. And then, of course, we have our concert series. Midlife Crisis is this Saturday. Hopefully it won't get rained out.
Dan Manning had sent me a note this morning, so we'll touch base with him tomorrow.
Right, if it's rain day. We just heard too that West Orchard will hopefully open in 3 weeks. I'm a little tentative to say that, but we'll knock on wood because it is a county project. And the ARC 5K, which we are talking about. So this is actually near and dear to my heart for a couple of reasons. One, because I started it 15 years ago. But second, this is going to be named after a dear friend and neighbor, Sharon Moran. And one of Sharon Moran's, she was very instrumental in Allendale. She's from Allendale, grew up in Allendale. And she was also a big part of the 5K in the past probably 7 or so years. And all of the proceeds are going to go to Allendale organizations. So we're going to make sure it's going to be ARC. We're going to do some for probably ambulance, fire. We haven't decided yet. But one of the things that I want to really put out there is a dear friend of Sharon's that she grew up with is going to match dollar for dollar up to $25,000 for every money that we raise. So we have a potential of making $50,000. So that's where we're going to be out there doing a big push. And so it's going to be great for Allendale. So, and it's a lot of fun. And finally, I just want to thank everybody for their support with my mom's staffing. I really appreciate it. It was really tough on my family and myself, but having somebody, the blessing in that, having somebody so amazing to have it be so hard is really what's the beautiful thing in it. So she was a great mom, and I just want to thank everybody for their support. And with that, any new business? Unfinished business? I'd like to open the meeting up to the public one more time. Anybody from the public? What?
I have a question.
Sure, come on up. Come on up and get. There you go.
You guys all know me, Donald McKenna, One Lee Court, Allendale, New Jersey.
Yes, sir.
So my kids have recently been doing tennis camp over at Brookside, and they wanted to know if there was any chance that we could get inflatables in the Crestwood Lake. And I said, I don't know. I said, I could ask Tyler when I get to the next meeting. And I figured this would be so they have in Brookside nice like slides and stuff that they put in the center of the lake. And one of the teachers, Matt Buckley, happened to give the kids a book on Allendale, which was pretty impressive. It had a lot of different pictures and stuff in it. And there was I'm talking about your blow-ups right now, guys. So I don't know. So I figured it was something to ask. And
do you want to send me a couple of pictures?
Yeah,
And I could show it to Tom, and Amy and I could talk about it in committee and see if maybe even if it's like a we get like a temporary, like a rental or.
Yeah, something to
that's
try. I
in
mean, we
safety
saw
and-
pictures. Crestwood used to have boats in it. I mean, it was crazy. I didn't realize.
Giant high dive in the middle.
Yeah, it was crazy. That's in the pictures.
Yeah,
So
so
it's
we are,
very impressive.
working with Alley Oop to potentially get some, supplies for our
Kayaks and
kayaks
stuff,
and
yeah.
things like that. So,
Okay.
yeah, we have a couple things like that, but,
Awesome.
I
I
finally sent me
appreciate
a
your
couple
openness
things
to
and-
take a look at
Always
it.
we'll
open,
take a look.
fun.
And then a question for you, Councilman O'Toole.
Yes, sir, you're next.
Last
I just
year,
covered that last.
yeah, I don't have any here. No. You're good, thank you. The back entrance over towards the Red Barn.
Yeah.
Which would, I don't know what that's on the street. When will the police be closing that this year for the 4th of July? Last year, we tried to walk through it, and for safety reasons, they closed it.
It's usually like 8 o'clock.
It's actually
8 o'clock?
posted somewhere.
Yeah.
I remember
I
I
couldn't
just read
find
it.
They usually put the message board, I don't know if they're
Yeah,
doing
I
it this
think
year.
Todd's
but-
gonna put that on.
Okay, so about 8 o'clock?
Yeah,
That was the
usually
question.
That's because it's so close to the fireworks themselves.
Yeah, that's why I want to, and we
to
walk
close
through that way, obviously, being outside.
Yeah.
Another question, the website. I often try to reference the website for times of the meetings, like when they're gonna be, locations. I'm struggling to find this on there.
This meeting?
Well, this meeting, the land use meeting, like I'd
Right,
like
no,
to start.
Back as it's brand new.
Yeah, so it's the first page you come up to, it's welcome to our new website. It pops up every time. And then when I search for like meeting times or things like that, we are not seeming to find it.
Yeah, we have had a couple of issues with this search, but we were trying to make it so it's
Are you gonna show me?
the front.
We're gonna look at it live.
Please, I hope you can, because I may be the problem behind the search. I don't
No,
know.
but I mean,
No, I agree. It's not.
It's not very easy to use, is all and I'm not complaining, I'm just,
yeah, no, it's feedback. And
And then I'd
like I
like
said,
to-
it is new. But I kind of thought it was
so
like,
perhaps.
it should be government.
So I will also say it looks a lot better here than it does on the mobile.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
So I
on a
use the mobile
it's
app
very
all
good.
the time. I'm not apt at the
Yeah, so
mobile
it's
because
pretty, that's kind of.
I don't even have a computer. Well, we do, that's.
It figures it differently on.
Tyler, if you.
Yeah, it's much different on the mobile.
Yeah, then there's another calendar below.
Okay,
I
so
know.
maybe I have to start looking
And we
at
are
it on
doing,
here.
there is a new website link coming, events.allendale.nj.gov
Okay.
as well, which actually I think I could pull up as well. So now this is new as of today.
Oh, beautiful.
So if you pull up events.allendale.nj.gov, then there's a whole calendar.
Okay.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
And
Mirror Jam, how do you
print
feel
it
about
out.
this?
Have to be in it though.
Tyler, is that gonna be on our?
Okay, so maybe, I think,
This went live today.
Yeah, so we'll have to make sure we get that out to the public so people know that.
I think the problem is
I didn't
more
know
the
that.
mobile versus.
Really
It
nice.
might be, but that's
Well, because
something.
you can't find this on, it
But
doesn't.
mobile-
Yeah,
anything.
mobile is so hard.
It should be compatible. with mobile.
I
Yeah,
know,
but-
but. Yeah.
I didn't know about.
I don't feel.
I'm the IT queen. I don't
I feel
Okay.
like I read it.
Oh, if Mirror Jam didn't know, then none of us know.
Maybe we can staff. Did you have another question? Because I'll close.
Yes, one more.
Okay.
Councilwoman Coleman for her attention to my email, regarding the tank painting. And, thank you for your response. That was very helpful. I wanted to give our condolences to your mom. I didn't know that, so I'm sorry for that. And, thank you guys for everything you've been doing. So.
Thank
Thanks so much.
Thank
Thank you. Thanks for coming tonight.
Anybody else from the public wish to speak?
Come on, Walter.
It's difficult sitting in the audience and I'm close enough to hear you. The combination between this thing and you speaking do not balance.
Yeah, I know. We do know we are going to address the speaking system at some point.
What the gentleman said about the website, I have to agree with him 100%.
Okay.
And of course, that is good news. And I'm so glad that none of you said something about Facebook. Because I hear one more comment from this group regarding go to Facebook, I will go through the rule.
Well, we actually would rather people go to our website. We direct people to the website, not to
I would hope so.
100%.
My next point, the gentleman who's sitting here, is he employed by the borough?
No, he's our planner. He's our
Yeah.
planner.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Yes.
Employees a professional.
he's a professional. He's a professional service. We do pay him for his services.
We pay for his services.
Correct.
Because I was listening to him and I didn't understand much of what he said.
You know what? It is a very complicated topic, the fair share housing.
Yeah.
You really have to take a deep dive into it. I mean, this is the whole book. He basically summarized this whole book in 15 minutes.
I don't know how you guys stay behind that. I really don't.
It is insane. I mean, I'm on the
Crazy.
periphery, and the two of you really dug in.
You guys are doing a good job. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Walter.
Walter.
Anybody else from the public wish to speak?
One question. Where is the 5 acres without?
I'll show you a
Girl,
picture.
I'm-
I'll show you a picture after the meeting. If you want. Yeah. Anybody else from the public wish to speak? Not seeing anyone. Motion to adjourn.
So
All in
moved.
favor?
Aye.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.